Hello and welcome to the Elmo Book Club. Today I'm doing the It's Not That Bad tag, which was created by Melinda at Web of Stories, and I was tagged by Nicky at My Messy Bookshelf. And this is a really fun tag. It's all about our reading habits and things that we do that other people might think is absolutely horrendous, and things that we would never do that other people might. So yeah, let's just get right into the questions and see what weird habits I do or don't. And the first one is, do you dog ear your books? I used to do this a lot more before. Like when I didn't have a bookmark, I would just mark what page I was on by doing a little dog ear. And I don't really do that that much anymore. I use a bookmark in the book that I'm reading, but sometimes I will do it to just mark down interesting parts in a book. And I don't do it very often, but I did quite a bit in Piranesi by Susanna Clark. This has a bunch of dog ears, as you can see, just with where important things happened, or there was a quote or something that I knew I wanted to talk about in the book club video. And yeah, I don't usually do that much dog ears, but it happens. And this is a book that I own and a book that I want to keep. And so yeah, I think it's fine. It's not the best, but it's not that bad. Question number 2 is, do you annotate your books? No, I would never write in a book, and I would never make marks in a book or underline or highlight or anything like that. I don't take a lot of notes when I'm reading fiction at all, but the ones I do take, I take on my phone in the notes app. And I just have a little simple template in there that I just copy and paste, which is just brief summary, my general thoughts, my likes, my dislikes, and then how many stars I would rate it. And so yeah, that's my process for taking notes. If there's a specific quote that I want to save, I might just write down the page number and then either copy the quote or say what it's about so I can look it up. And yeah, that's about it. I don't feel the need to write in my books, and I don't think it's there's no space for it. And I also want to be able to read the text just as it is. If I'm rereading it, or if I want to give it to someone else to read, I don't want them to have to read my thoughts. I think, when you're reading a book, you want to be able to make your own mind and see things the way you want to see it, and then you can discuss it afterwards. But I wouldn't want anybody else's annotations in my book, so I don't know. I don't even want my own. If I read it a second time, I still want to be able to make up my mind a second time. I think it's also a budget kind of mindset. I would be tempted sometimes to annotate in my textbooks from university, but I would also have the mindset that I would maybe want to resell them afterwards because I didn't have a lot of money. So, you can't buy a book for really expensive and then doodle in it. So yeah, I don't know. I would never write in my books. Question number 3 is, do you roll covers or break spines when you read? So rolling the cover would be holding it like this. No, I would never do that. But as you might have been able to tell, I do break the spine. I don't know if you can see it very well on this, but it's bent like that. I think maybe you can see it better on this one. There are a bunch of cracks. And it's get that little bend, and I don't know, I really like the feeling of it. I feel it makes the book feel more lived in, and it's a badge of honor that I read the book because it will never look like this if I haven't read it. So yeah, I'm a very sensory kind of person and reader, so I like it to be nice and soft and lived in, broken in. And I feel breaking the spine is part of that. I don't want it to be one crack down the middle and it's still holding together. It's not completely cracked, but it's definitely like bent, and yeah, I want to be able to read it easily and like see all the way in. So I don't know how to do that without cracking the spine, unless you do that like hack, but I don't have time for that. But I would never roll it like that. I feel like that makes it like bend up weird. Like you put it down on the table and it will like still stand up like that. I don't like that. I want it to be nice and flat. So those are my rules. Okay. Question number 4 is, do you listen to something while you read? I usually like to have quiet around me, but it depends. Like I would rather have a buzzing sound, or like, you know, people talking in a coffee shop or something where I can't hear the words, like something noise, just like, you know, nothing that sticks out. Like I can have nature sounds, but if there's like a specific bird that's like stands out from everything else, that might be distracting. I'm very sensitive to sounds in general and like sensory overload. So yeah, and it depends, like if I'm stressed, I'm gonna be even more sensitive. So yeah, I used to listen to instrumental music when I studied. I like to listen to piano, like Ludovico Einaudi. I listen to that on repeat, and I would like to have sometimes some kind of like atmospheric music that fits the book that I'm reading, but I don't really have time to like find the perfect playlist for every single book that I'm reading. So it's usually easier to just keep it quiet. Question number 5 is, do you read in the bathroom? No, I would never read in the bathroom. I don't bring things with me into the bathroom. I don't want like the particles on my books or on anything else. I need my hands for other things, and I just don't really see the point. Like I'm not going to be in there for that long. I can sit there with my own thoughts and be perfectly entertained. So no, I don't read in the bathroom. Number 6 is, do you read in water, such as in the bathtub, in a pool, etc.? I don't take baths very often, but I do have like a fantasy of me reading in the bath, but I would probably like drop it into the water and ruin the book. So maybe if I had like a really cheap thrifted bath book that I wasn't too precious about, like I don't see anything wrong with it. I'm too clumsy to risk any of my good books to be dropped in the water. And also I just don't do it that much. I do read by the lake, but it's not really like at risk of falling in when I'm at the lake, and like I can dry my hands and things like that. And also I don't mind if there's like drops of water on something, or like if I get a bit of coffee on a book or something. I just think that's part of the charm sometimes. It's lived in. I read it. I lived my life and I read the book and it was part of my life. And so it got a little bit of coffee on it. It's not the end of the world. As long as you can read the words and it's not, you know, like falling apart, I'm fine with that. I would rather have water in my book than pen. Question number 7 is, do you DNF? First of all, I find it fascinating that DNF is a verb. Do you did not finish? Yes, I did not finish. I quit books. I abandon books. I stop reading books when I don't like them because I don't want to waste my time on something that I don't enjoy. I might power through sometimes if it's, you know, for a book club, for instance, or if it's like something that I do want to have read and I just want to have my own opinion on it. But if it's a book that I'm reading just for pleasure and like just for enjoyment, no, I'm not gonna finish reading that. It also depends on like how far I've gotten. I do want to give a book a fair chance, but I also don't want to read too far into it because then I feel the need to finish it just because like I already invested all that time. But like life is short, so no, let's not waste time on books that we're not enjoying. I also don't see anything wrong with it. It's my life, my time. I can read or not read any book I want. Question number 8 is, do you ever read ahead or skip to the end of a book? No, I would never do that. I'm allergic to spoilers and I would not want to ruin the experience for myself. Sometimes I will be reading on the left page and I will like see something that catches my attention on the right page. Like there's a, something in italics or like a letter thing or like some kind of thing that sticks out from the text. And I can't stop myself from like glancing over there, but like I'm mad at myself that I did that, or I'm mad at the author or the editor or publisher or whatever who put it there. Like put that on the next page. I don't want to be able to see it before I've gotten there. So no, I don't read ahead if I can help it, and I definitely don't skip to the end. Like what's the point? Question number 9 is, are you book polygamous? Meaning, do you read more than one book at a time? Usually I won't, but since I've discovered audiobooks, I do usually now have one physical book and one audiobook going at the same time. I can listen to an audiobook while I'm driving in the car or cooking or, going for a walk or something. And then the physical book is more like when I'm sitting down and relaxing and, taking some time to read. So I find that works pretty well. I can't have 2 books going at the same time that are too like similar in style or story or theme, because I will mix them up, or like I will lose track or lose interest, or I just find that confusing. In a perfect world, they're like completely different genres, completely different stories, and that works pretty well for me. Question number 10 is, do you own more books than bookshelf space? I mean, I do have shelves that there aren't any books on. So, but like there are other things on those shelves, but I could move those, like they can go somewhere else. So no, I think I still have a lot of space for new books. And then there's a bonus question about free little libraries, which I don't really have in my area. I'm not sure if there are any in Sweden. I'm sure there are some kinds of versions of it, but maybe not like as organized as it is in the US. But the question is, do you ever take a book without leaving a book at a little free library? And I think it's an interesting question, so I want to answer it anyways. I think that as long as you're putting in books somewhere at some point, it's perfectly fine to take a book, even if you don't have one to put in with you, like that exact moment. And like also it depends on who you are. I feel like the point of the little free libraries is to just make books available to people who might not have them. So if you're a person who doesn't have a lot of books and don't like have access to a lot of books, I mean, we all have access to the library, but it's really nice to own a book or 2 as well, and have them for yourself. And so like if that's you and you don't have any books to give, absolutely take a book. And also if you are like a frequent visitor at little free libraries, I'm sure that you will put in like 5 books at some point, and then you can take one out at another time. Like it doesn't have to be a direct transaction with the little box, I feel like it's an honor system, and as long as you honor it and you're trying to be, do your best, but also like grab a book if you want it, like I think that's fine. Okay, so the last thing is to tag some people, and for this one I'm tagging Bonnie at Bonnie Nicole Writes, Elmo at Elmosi, Katherine at Raspberry Reads, Mariandrea at Books and Bocadillos, Aaron at Aaron Read a Book, and Heather at Heather Reads. So I think that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. And I would love to know what things you do to your books. And if you think that any of the things that I do are really that bad, please let me know. And I hope you're having a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.